So it's 5 o'clock, so we'll call the meeting to order. Has everybody had a chance to read the... Yep. Everybody had a chance to read the minutes already that were sent out, or you still gotta read them?
I'll take another look at something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yep.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
Is Tony still reading them?
I wasn't
He
here.
wasn't here,
Oh,
so...
that's right. Motion to accept.
Okay, all in favor, I'll second it, all in favor? Aye.
So I have a question, after reading the minutes here. I take it that gentleman came in on Norman Ave about the garage addition?
Yeah.
So we're fine with him as long as...
He said he had redrawn it to be out of our
So
easement.
as long, because we have a meeting tomorrow night at the ZBA, so water department's fine with it,
Yep,
as long as he's outside the easement?
correct.
Yeah.
He said his lawyer said to him that he couldn't put it in there. If even somebody gave an easement to do it, it would be against the law, so they redesigned it.
Where do you think that main is? You think it's in the easement?
I think it's in the easement.
It is, alright.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah, well, hopefully they dig some.
I think it's in the easement.
Yeah,
In those old days, they were,
right.
they put them where they're supposed to. Just good thing somebody picked up on it.
This is the lid. Okay, why are we abating the West Bridgewater School Department now?
That was just, we're not, that was an abatement that was supposed to be signed at the August meeting, if you look at the date. That was what we had already taken out.
Oh, okay.
That was, it just wasn't.
Yeah, that was from that.
Yeah, I wasn't at that meeting.
Yep.
And so right out of the gate, Rick, do you remember why? Oh, where's that gate? There are two gates at Copper Beach on each end.
Yes. Because his, pipe goes down on a 45,
Yeah.
under the 6-inch, goes back up on a 45. When they did the live tap,
Yeah,
they could barely get the tapping machine in between the two, so they had to put a gate there. But
Yeah.
that gate, I think that gate box is on an angle or something, and it can't be used.
All
So
right.
we had to add another one because it goes down on a 45 and then up on a 45, then it goes straight again at a,
All right, so on this end up here,
yeah. There should be a drawing of that.
something's broken in there.
What do you mean?
There's no water coming from that end.
Which end, Wayne?
The top end,
Where the
up
two,
here.
where the two valves
Well,
are.
there's two valves on the other end too.
Okay, blow that up bigger and then take your little lightning rod and click on it. Click on each gate. See what you got for a drawing.
Yeah, whatever. All right, it doesn't have an app to open it. How about this one? No, the picture's there, I just can't get it to open. Well, picture manager. Well, I hope all of those aren't linked to it.
That's all the whole town.
I know, let's just see if it's the first one, but
You should have a,
no. It did have a number, let me go back.
you should have also a, how come they're not all linked anymore?
Well, it's just this one, she has to upgrade this one. Now that she's done significant work on the other one, I just haven't ever had to do it. But I didn't see which picture.
There should be a photograph too, and we took pictures of that when we did it.
Trying to look at the number as it, before it brings it up. I don't need to see all of them. 2092. Now I just gotta find 2092.
Well, it wouldn't be one of those, it would be an AutoCAD drawing. Because we didn't do a hand drawing when we
Alright,
did
the
that.
link says 2092, but I don't see a 2092. So the drawing's not here anyways. Wait a minute, yep. 20. They're not in order. Great. Do I search?
Looks like it goes 2090 to 2094.
Yeah. See the, so in the center. Oh, well, I'm not gonna be able to bring up the picture because I can't find it. Pictures.
Well, there should be an AutoCAD drawing of that, and there should be a photograph.
Alright, well, either
On each
way,
end.
no water's coming through this
And
end.
the other
Well-
one won't come up either?
Blow that bigger, right there, that one right there. You see the red box? What does that mean?
Well, it means you don't turn that one.
Right. So that one there has got a bent curb box on it. The curb box comes up on an angle to get around the pipes.
Cause we're gonna have to dig in there to figure out what the heck's going on.
So you had the green one open?
So
Sure,
part of the
and it
gate,
wasn't
they
coming the
flipped
other way.
sides, yeah, they flipped sides, so when we closed this end, you know, everything flushed fine, so then you're supposed to open this side and then go to the other end, so when we close this end, we shut off the water.
You know, I'm trying to think, I think about it, I think they had put the tapping machine like on a 45 because the pipe was right here. If they went on a 90, you know, and
Yeah.
tapped it, it wouldn't fit. So they went on a 90, a 45, and then they put a 45 down below, and then they went back up with a 45.
Yeah.
And that's why the gate is facing this way. So and then when you put the curb box on, the curb box came up to the street like that.
Yeah.
So, but they had to have a gate there to do a live tap on the 16-inch main.
Right.
So, is there actually a gate box there? But I don't even remember if we left a gate box.
I'm not sure that there are, I think there are two gate boxes.
There are?
Yeah,
Okay.
And they did open that valve back up, right? I know it's a stupid question, but.
yeah, I'm not good, so I can't, I was trying, cause we need somebody to sit and start keeping track of what's open. I'm trying to do everything and move quickly, and it doesn't work that well, but I don't have anybody I trust to operate the gates besides me. So yes, it opened back
So
up.
you opened it back up?
Yep.
Okay.
None of the other guys open gates?
Well, they can, but so I'd have to bring in another highway guy, so then we'd have 2 highway guys out on the flushing end of it, and 2 of our guys in that van.
Why?
So that you can operate the gates. We're trying to move quickly instead of, you can't take all day, you have to move fast, it's not an easy thing to do, it shouldn't be being done at night. So tonight, we have to close 13 gates before we can begin. That's an hour and 15 that people stand around waiting for us to close the gates. Currently, let me just find my spot. We've flushed 50 hydrants, but we've operated 43 gates.
And that's what these programs are.
So that's 80. So it's more a gate exercising program than it is a flushing program. They're also not flushing every hydrant, they're skipping hydrants. The program skips
Oh,
hydrants.
that's what we used to do anyways.
Yeah, and then we ended up with a whole pile of broken hydrants that we didn't know anything about. So when I took over, that's when I forced us to go, I drew up a whole new plan and I circulated from the tank out. I spiraled outwards. And we operated every hydrant so that we know that every hydrant in town works. And at the end of the season, when we're done flushing, we go back and we plunk each one to make sure that they're dry or draining. And if not,
You
we
even
plunk them.
operated the old ones?
We operate everything. If it doesn't work, then it shouldn't be in the system, we remove it. So the old ones in some cases
old
work a lot
hydrant-
better than the,
The old
That's what it
hydrants
is.
were sealed with whale oil
yeah,
and leather.
yeah,
And they'll always open.
Right.
A hydrant will never not open. When it opens, you may not get it closed tight. That's the problem. That's why if you're gonna use an old hydrant,
yeah, we haven't had any
it-
issues like that.
we never used to operate the real old hydrants because they're on old mains we're gonna eliminate anyways. So when you start operating old hydrants, now you're gonna have frozen hydrants because they're not gonna seal up.
North Elm was nothing but 2-eared hydrants, so you're gonna skip flushing that whole street?
No.
So we replaced most of them, but,
We had changed most of those leather seals to rubber.
right,
And there was a kit that you would change, and we had done that all through the 1970s, and all those hydrants were all rebuilt, all taken apart and all rebuilt, so they would have worked.
so I'm not a fan of the program, and the people that I know who talked about it, they're not fans either.
I'll tell you, because I designed a bunch of these back where I used to work.
Yeah.
The people that have to do it, are never fans of the
Right.
program.
But it's not- but
It's to get, it's not, I mean, it's a ton of valves. The idea is to try to get everything
But
you
it's
can
not-
out of the system.
If they worked a section at a time, it would be fine, and I understand you gotta take into account Walnut Street back and forth, but we're not, we're all over town with gates that are opened and closed. It's not just, we close them on North Down, we're closing on Prospect, we're over at West and Crescent, we're down at Manley Street, and we're up at Lowe's closing gates. There are gates all over the place being shut to flush
Are they
a
just-
hydrant here or there.
Are they just trying to get you closed down a big area to try to get a whole bunch of?
In essence, I'm
With
sure that's
fewer
what they're
gates?
trying to do, but there should have been better ways to do it. They're not. I mean, obviously, if all the water goes up to the Walnut Street tank, if you cut Manley Street off, it all comes back, that's a reverse flow. Why would you? But it's not how
Are
they
you
program.
flushing bigger sections than you used to with this program?
No, we're actually, I can't tell you what we're doing because we're all over the place. You're
You're
truly.
just going by the plan. You're
Yeah, I'm just sticking to the plan. That's what you guys have dictated me to do. The other plan was, the one that I designed was a lot better and could have been manipulated to have some gates shut and do sections at a time rather than, because you want to get clear, you want to start at the tanks and clear out so that you're always pulling clear water, because we shut down the system when we do it, so you're always pulling from the tanks from that point on. So as long as you clear your way out, you're always going to pull clear water. But this is, we're all over the place. It's,
Try it once, do the whole system and see what you think. I don't know.
we're not getting any dirtier water than if we had normally flushed either.
But you have to do this for DEP, right? They want the,
Well, they want to know you have a
Direction.
Yeah, directional flow. But we don't have complaints like that. So this year is the first year we don't have a high school that's using hydrants to dust control. We don't have them using our hydrants to water a ball field. We don't have people doing things anywhere with our system. So we've had about 4 water complaints, and all of them have been evolved around filters. Somehow people think if they put a filter in, it should last forever. And
yeah, that's always been. Well, I don't understand why, so the gate, did you try and see if that's a reverse gate on that?
yeah, we tried.
The
Trust
good
me,
one?
we
You
went back
operated
the
it
next
both
day.
ways?
Yeah, we went back the next day.
And it seems like it's actually operating, it's
Right.
not broken.
It operates too. It goes stop to stop, which is weird. Usually when they break, they won't go stop to stop.
Right,
It's not.
but it's going stop to stop. Okay, so,
Unless somebody didn't open up that other
Well,
that other gate.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
ask you that, is there a way,
I haven't looked
there's no
into it
way to
yet.
check if you can't get through the box, but when they live tap both ends of that?
well,
and
you
put it
can,
in?
I think you can get to it, you need a long wrench or go down on like a 45, if it's still visible. And
Yeah.
you'd be turning it this way, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, we have one like
'Cause
that at the
that'd be-
Family Dollar.
Yeah, try that, see,
Because I just wondered if it got all put in and then they
Those
thought they
gates-
were open and feeding, and
Right.
it was only feeding out of one.
Yeah.
those gates on that 16-inch main are reverse gates.
Well, they're butterflies.
Yeah, but the sideline
They-
gates were.
No. They operate, they don't open left, they open right.
Well, every one of them's in the right position, and righty tighty, lefty loosey, so they're all in the left position.
I'm just telling you, I know that they were put in,
I know they're all butterflies.
yeah, I know they're all butterflies too, because they're all in a 16-inch main. What I'm saying is, they operate and they close in the opposite direction.
Well, if I do that, then I'd be shutting off on thing. I'm not sure about that.
Well, you better check it, because that's what happened up on that gate, the first gate coming out of the tank. It
Yeah.
was closed for so long that we found that was a reverse gate.
Right.
Are any of those painted yellow?
Nope.
Why are all those gates red?
The only ones red are the 2 that you have there that,
No, but, oh, those are hydrants I'm looking at?
yeah,
Oh, okay, I thought those were gates.
no.
Yeah, maybe when they put that tap in at the angle, they just never opened it back
Do you
up
have-
after everything was put in and
Right.
never knew because it backfed.
Can you bring up the gate again, bring it up big, and then take your, not the lightning rod, take the other thing that brings up the information, the data, yep. Click on that one, yep. What's it say about that?
Says it's an 8-inch. And the pipe label is C900.
Yep. What's it say, open left, open right?
And it doesn't say that at all. Just says active. Doesn't have a turn. No, it won't give me it.
All right, go on that 16 and find a gate
Yeah.
further up the street. Take your hand there, the knuckle, and walk up the street.
Alright, that's the 16.
Which
It's
is
still an 8-inch, so that whatever they put
That's the,
on
ta-
the...
that's
No,
gotta
that's
be
the-
the taps, the
That's the
tapping.
tapping gate.
Yeah, it says it's tapped to 45, alright.
Yeah. Does it say tap to 45?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? That's what I thought. Drag that thing up the street, let's get on the 16. If you go up to the other intersection up at Crescent Street, you're gonna find a gate up there on the
Yeah, I think
60.
there's one back here by the river.
Don't you just go by it?
I think you just went by one.
By the river.
No, that's,
Yeah, right there, right in front of the hydrant. There's a
no,
gate.
there it is right there, yeah.
Click on that and see what you get for an identification.
It doesn't have any, there it goes.
There it is.
To the right, close direction to the right.
Opens right or closes right?
Closes to the right.
Opens left.
Yes, all of them.
Yeah, it's a-
I know I've operated them all.
And if you left them all in the wrong position.
We wouldn't get any water.
Yeah.
Why you would, but it would be feeding. It would
Yeah, you would get
You wouldn't be
that.
getting any water that you should be getting.
You're right, exactly. And that's how we found that other one. Sherman Mills kept doing their sprinkler tests,
No
and they
water.
weren't getting the results they did 5 years before, and they couldn't figure out why they had less water than they ever had.
After the tank went in.
No, this is all before the tank went in. And so we did an experiment. We went out, we shut off all the ties to the 16, and then we went and turned on a hydrant, and, you know, all the cross ties from 106 coming in and North Elm Street, and everything that cross tied to the 16. So it was all isolated. We opened up the hydrant at West Street and Crescent Street at the 16, and no water came out of it. So they told us that the gate, there was a gate off. And we went back by Tommy's old house up there in North Elm Street, at the intersection of Spring
Yeah.
and that's where the gate was. It was shut off, and we opened that gate up, and all of a sudden the hydrant started running, and all of a sudden Sherman Mills had a lot more water.
Alright, so on another note, in Emerson Ave, it's a highway problem and they know it. The patch for that gate has sunk for that hydrant. But there's another sinkhole occurring right above this.
Okay.
We're gonna leak?
I did a correlated leak check and nothing came back on it. But the road at that point is a foot thick. There's a 2-foot layer of clay between us and it, so you can't drop the pucks down and listen either because you can't hear anything. But for some reason, the road has started to sink in that spot.
That is the old water main that we eliminated when we laid that 8-inch water main.
Right, so was it a 2-inch steel line? Most of the old sides, all the side streets were all 2-inch mains at one time.
See what size gate that is, take your little ID thing and tap on the gate. I think it's a 6.
Alright, then it shouldn't be steel, but. Close to the right, distribution main. 2-inch.
Alright, so it was a 2-inch.
So it could be rotting
The
out.
reason why we replaced it was because we had a leak there about every 3 days.
Yeah.
It just kept leaking and leaking and leaking, so finally we just laid a new main and
So there is the possibility that it's leaking again, it's just not getting to the surface.
well, that's probably a 2-inch tap then on the 6-inch pipe,
Right.
and you might have a leak. So, before the weather gets real bad, and you end up with a real wet, sloppy, frozen mess, you better dig it up sometime.
No sign of any water though, huh?
No sign of any water, but that's,
Like
for
you said,
that
it's
road, it's not out of the question for that to happen.
Would come up in the gate box, so wouldn't it?
It could if it got over there, but if it can't get over there, it won't. It'll.
Oh, it's not
find-
settling right at the gate box?
No, because the gate box is in, but it's actually sinking right where the thing connects, pretty much,
Right by the T
yeah.
or the tap.
And there's no reason for the road to have suddenly started collapsing there.
Usually a sign of a leak.
Of course, I can't understand where all the material would be going, because it's gotta go somewhere to. So we may do an exploratory dig there and see what's going on.
You might just end up cutting that tee right out of there, because that's that pipe that came in, what, 6 foot lengths
Yeah.
with all the
Join the
joints.
2 bolts.
Yep.
Nice. Other than that, I don't have anything.
No, is the other one on the gate, then the highway just gonna redo the,
Yeah, they'll
So
just
what would you
repatch
do,
that.
Wayne, tie that 2 inch over to the new main?
Well, no, the 2 inch is dead. They
2
just
inches.
didn't cut it off at the main, they cut it off at the gate.
so they left a stub
Right.
to
They left the 2 inch
eventually
pipe.
rot out.
So what's
Yeah.
feeding Emerson?
So there's a
8
new
inch.
main right
The
there.
orange one.
If
See
you
the
look
orange
just
one?
below, right
It's a
there.
live tap
Right
into the
there.
12.
Oh, what's that? That's 8 inch?
That's 8 inch. The green one that is going into the light green, that's a 12.
Right.
And the dark green is a cast iron 6 inch, but the 6 inch is in 6 foot pieces with the joints all on it.
Where's the new one going down Emerson? Up the top there, Wayne?
No, it's this one right here, it's this right here.
I thought that's the old one.
No, this is the old one right here.
Oh, it's just dead ends right there?
Yeah. But the sinkhole is occurring out here.
Ah. Which one's the new one, the old main on South Main?
So the bigger
The
main,
light green is the
Yeah.
old?
That's a 12. That's a 12 inch.
The newer one.
That's the
Right.
new one.
That's a
Yeah.
new one. That's AC, 12 inch. It goes up to the car dealership there and swaps over, right by Anna Brown's house. It swaps over, goes the other side of the road, then goes up to Tom Kemp's.
With that old pipe still.
The old pipe goes right up,
old pipe runs all the way up.
all the way up.
And we've had,
That's a place.
It's still live?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of
That
people.
was the leak that up near you, in front of the, well, it was near you, wasn't it? It
Oh,
was
yeah, in front of
surfacing
the
at
signs.
Autobahn, but it was actually one of them two-eared clamps decided to let go.
Well, it was
But it-
traveling along.
Oh yeah, it traveled almost a quarter mile down the road before it surfaced.
So could we just swap into the new main? Or the
You'd
new
have
main
to,
only goes up to Anna Brown's?
right.
No.
This doesn't go all
No,
the
the
way.
new main goes all the way up to Tom Kemp's and turns down Bedford Street.
Yeah, it ends at Bedford, and then you're on the piece.
And you'd have to, what you have to do is get
Swap
Anna
out
Brown,
services.
all Anna Brown and all those old houses on that street.
You'd have to tie 'em in the new
You have to
main.
tie them in the new main.
It goes all the way.
They're all tied into the,
That's what'll eventually happen if that main gets bad enough. huh?
right.
Good project if we knew ahead of time that the.
They were gonna do
When the
redo
state's gonna
South
redo
Main
it,
Street.
yeah,
Cause if that was gonna get redone, go in ahead of time and
right. So we'll do an exploratory dig there and see if there's anything down there, or a reason that the road would suddenly
How much
start.
is it saying? I don't even remember seeing it.
It is there, it's in the, you might miss it if you're not
Is it
in
the
the
middle of
thing,
the
but
road?
you could see it. You can visibly see it.
Well, dig it up, see what you find. If you gotta cut it out,
it's not like it's some big thing that you just haven't seen any junk and anything.
No, we had our water usage is
So
down.
it could just be if something that's been going on forever and it just
Right.
finally, a little bit moves away at a time and it's finally starting to show up.
Yep,
that main right there, from there to the center of town would be a good section to start tying those houses over, the old houses into the new main,
Right.
especially the ones on that side of the road, because the 12 inches on that side of the road, you don't even have to go out the street hardly.
right,
Get them tied over. And then the others are gonna be a little bit more of a project, because you're gonna have to go across the road.
yeah,
But then, once you get all the houses tied over, Kenwood Tire, I'm sure they're on the old main. I don't know, but I imagine they are. Get them all tied over, and then you could just cut that old 6 off and eliminate it from the center of town up to wherever you've got everybody changed over and cap it
Up
off.
to Bedford Street at some point, wouldn't you, right?
yeah,
So the 6 inch goes all the way to the Bridgewater line.
yeah,
You'd have to
And
keep it live from Bedford South.
well, you'd have to keep, you'd have to keep that section, but if we could eliminate half of it, that's half your leaks. That's half the problem area. Is that main, that main's the one that always leaks, it's not the 12 inch, it's the
Yeah.
old 6. The other thing
What is
is,
the 12? Is that transite?
yeah,
that 6 inch is also made, they said during World War II, and that when steel was hard to get, and we throwing ball bearings and everything into to the cast. And so there's ball bearings in the cast pipe. So when you go to tap it, you can't tap it a lot of times, you can't get all the way through it. Because they're, cast iron and steel was hard to get during World War II, so that's why that pipe is so bad.
I think ball bearings would have been worth way too much back then.
Well, they were hard, they never melted the same way the rest of the steel they were putting in.
Yeah.
So sometimes you would actually see a ball bearing in the cast iron pipe. And you wouldn't want to try to tap on that section,
You can't get through
but
it.
you can't get through it. So that's it for new business?
Yep. That wasn't really business discussion.
Okay, so we're gonna just keep plugging. What do you guys think about him flushing during the day?
What's the concern about during the day?
It's a lot safer. The people, I mean, the
Because he's-
officers are having problems too, because the people can't see. You get that many flashing lights in one area, they can't see him, they can't see us.
It's not a case of shutting people down.
No, we're never shutting anybody down, and for the most part, there's really not dirty
So
water.
it's just a case of the activity on the side of the road.
Right.
And it's, if people are trying to make supper, they could get dirty water, or if they're home, they could get dirty water. or
I
they-
see other towns flushing during the day.
A lot of them, you do, this is a lot of work. It's not,
I don't have a problem with it. If it's
No,
gonna make it
if it's
easier, you
safe.
need to do it. Try it.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Just do.
Give it a
the best you
shot,
can.
see
So
how
are
many-
you gonna be able to get the highway guys during the day like you've been?
I can
doing
ask
before?
if I can still get one.
Yeah, I mean,
I may not be able to, and then we'll figure out something. I mean,
Do what
one
you
person
can.
can flush, because there's, you really, at the rate, there are very few breaks where you get like 5 hydrants flushed in a section. Usually, we're manipulating a gate, we're opening one, we're closing one, and then you're flushing like 1 or 2 hydrants, and then you're manipulating gates again. It's not, they're no big sections.
Are you manipulating all the gates by hand, or are you using the,
No, we're using the gate turner.
You are?
There's too many.
Yeah, I agree, use it. Yeah.
But when he gets the gates operated, and they've been operated once every 3 years,
They'll-
one guy can go out and spin those gates right down close.
Some will, some have nuts. And
When's the last time we exercised all our gates? Been a
so,
while, hasn't it?
Yeah,
like 2009, I think is the
Yeah.
last date I saw. it.
they're getting stiff.
But Turner's working all right, not,
Well, we've had our funs with that. We just had the exhaust system put back on. The first night out, my eyes were watering because the thing was exhausting inside the thing. The motor, sometimes, but the other night it actually ran good. Most of the times it's not. We need to replace it with one on a trailer.
What is the
Get it
motor?
out of
What is
there.
the engine on it?
It's a Kohler 20 horse.
Didn't we just replace that?
No, we had it rebuilt like probably 5 years back, maybe further. We sent it up and had them just rebuild the unit or whatever they do when they did it. But it's never, because they tied it into the gas tank, it never really worked good there. The gas tank part of it rotted out, so we bought a gas tank and put it back in the van, but it's still kind of sketchy. So far, we've got it to start each time. We started out turning gates by hand on the first night, and thankfully we got the thing up and running, because,
That convinced you to get it running, didn't it?
oh yeah, that was, yeah.
Well, they, yeah, see how this, the 12, see the light green pipe there with a cap on it?
Yeah.
That's where it's supposed to continue down to the Bridgewater line. So if he cuts off the 6, right there at that intersection, he'd have to tie that into the 12 and feed that, into the 6 and feed that.
I don't see it going past Bedford Street, where it,
That's right, that thing right there, that's
See
the
the
at the
cap.
end of the 12.
That's
So
a
it says
cap.
that they
that's
put
the
a,
end of the new main.
Yep,
right, it says that they put a little stub in there and put a cap on
And
it.
then the red one on the
and
other.
then see
Oh,
the,
red's the old one going.
then the orange one's an 8, it goes down Bedford Street. The 12 doesn't get out of Bedford, and 8 does. But they capped it off, and they're gonna go, we're supposed to be going
Right.
with a 12 all the way down to the Bridgewater line, then you can eliminate the red one. But if he could cut it off from there to the bridge, to the West Bridgewater Center, with all those houses tied over to the 12, then all you do is you connect the 12 to the,
Right
to
there.
the 6 right there, and you keep that alive until you get the rest of them changed over. Or you gotta get a new main up there too. This time, when you put the 12 in, you have it in the contract that they do the water services
Yeah.
too.
Jumped everybody.
Do laterals all at once.
Yep. Okay, next thing on the agenda, I guess, is old business. The disposal medicine there for the, you haven't heard from them?
No, I left 2 messages and I wrote 2 letters and I haven't gotten them.
That's from Life Care.
Yeah, we asked them to come in, and they not responded. We asked them to come in and talk to us about it, and they're not even responding.
Not even a response, huh?
Nope.
Well, I was talking to some lady, I talked to her twice and then I emailed her, and she said she was going on vacation and she was gonna forward, you know, the information on to her boss, and then I never.
When was that?
She never came back.
Since the last meeting, though, I sent the letter to them.
She came back. Nobody wants to talk to us. That's the
The one-
Well, no, you're what it is, they realize, oh crap, they were
Getting
supposed to have done something, haven't been doing it.
right. And they don't wanna
Maybe they're trying to
talk to
figure,
us about it.
maybe they're trying to figure out what they have, how much trouble they're actually in before they.
Well, what are we gonna do? I think we ought to notify the Board of Health that they haven't been doing the testing that they're supposed to be doing, and that the Board of Health should help us, get their attention.
So you, I'm sorry, were you called last week, Carrie?
No, I sent a letter. I had called, to talk to the woman had called me, telling me that her boss was on vacation, and that she would get it to him, like, when he came back, and then I had emailed her again, because she never got back to me, and she said that she was going on vacation, so she would, you know, so it's just, I've only talked to her, but not to her boss, but I've addressed 2 letters to her boss. The last one was to them to see if they would come into a meeting.
Should you try calling her again, just see where it's at one more time? Or
Yeah, I can do that.
if she answers, I mean, you can get her.
I can get her usually.
Maybe now that everybody's done with vacation, maybe touch base with her one more time and see if we can move this thing forward.
Asked Carrie to, see if the town hall has they should have the, certified surplus from the state.
Yeah.
They usually get it in August, we get it, town hall gets it
And
in
then gives
August,
it to us.
and we get it, they usually hang on till September. Being September, middle of September, they should have it, so I asked Carrie to give them a call and find out where it is, so we can
Go
see.
through the rate.
Yep, and then we can see what we got for a surplus, and then we can, sit down and go over our numbers and figure out where the surplus came from.
Yeah.
So, if they have that, I'll sit down, as soon as Kerry gets it, we'll sit down and do the numbers. Does anybody else have anything, all this other stuff is just, stuff that if we wanted to discuss it, does anybody want to discuss any of these aquifer protection?
Anything on, we heard anything from Tater and Howard on the work they're supposed to be moving forward with?
No, the last I knew, she was trying to get, the copy of the deeds, so she was chasing that for our remediation. Figuring the big piece, the Reading Farm, I think would cover anything that we needed to do. But I haven't
What
heard,
farm would?
oh,
Reading,
that,
Oh, yeah.
that's the only name I know, I
yeah,
don't know what
CC
it's.
Reading.
So that would help us with,
Yeah, that would take care of it, cause it's a big enough track that it would,
Why, what's that, what's that gonna help us with?
mitigation for water withdrawal.
Why, what does that farm do for us?
because it's deed,
It's
because it's
because it's
restricted
deeded,
to
it's
just
a
farm.
restricted deed, so it
Can't
says that
develop.
they're
Oh, I
preserving.
see, I see, yep, it can't be
land or
developed.
whatever.
Yep,
So they're just still working on that.
Yeah, but I know that date's coming up, I thought I saw a September date, so I'll look at that tomorrow morning and see if I can push her.
Well, yeah, just because we've had, kind of been pushed off the schedule
Right.
with some of the stuff before, so, you know,
Yeah.
we don't want to get stuck because they're,
Right, he shifted it away from himself and he put Megan on it. Cause that's the last contacts I've had.
okay.
I'll bump her and say, what's that due date there? Cause other than that, it's up to them to apply for an extension again. I answered all the questions that I had to answer for the permit, so I've given them all that information.
Balls in their court.
Yep.
do you have anything else, Tom?
Nope.
Anything else, Art?
Just quick update, interviewed 4 candidates for that GIS IT position. 3 of them were being recommended on to, you know, for Gagney and the selectmen to
They
look at. Good, Deb was one, Alyssa Joy, who's from town, was another, and guy Jacob Cabral, who was from, there's an awful lot of stuff down with UMass in Bridgewater. He actually withdrew after the interview.
Oh, did he?
You looked at his resume, it just didn't seem like, you know, he had been board stiff. It's, you know, he was spending time flying drones around, mapping tidal zones and pulling that into GIS.
Yeah, he had, I couldn't understand why he had applied. It was like way below
No,
what he should be
he
making.
was always wicked impressive, but the first thing I thought is this kid's gonna be making 6 figures in 2 years, why is he
Right.
applying? And he did, he came to excellent interview, but he withdrew it. So they've got the 2 people, and I don't know if Linda's sent the letter on to them or not yet. And we'll hear, you know, it's up to Gagnon
Okay.
and the selectmen.
Very good. Wayne, you got
I
anything?
don't know, man.
Did that leak get fixed over by, was it Spring Street and North
Oh,
Elm?
so that's a gate, so when you turn the gates, that's when you discover which ones have bad packings in them, and that's a bad package, so we just backseated it. We just hadn't gotten back to it yet.
Carrie, do you have anything?
No, next meeting is October 7th, Monday.
Okay.
Was Family Street back online?
Do I hear a motion to
Yes.
adjourn?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, wait, don't adjourn yet.
the discussion, so I asked about the UV light doesn't count, there's only a few models that are accepted, ours is not one of them, it's too old.
Really?
So what they did say though was, so I said, most of our plants, our first customers are right there. What is everybody else doing? And what he said is,
When you say he said, who were you talking to?
the DEP, so he has to deal more with the part when we failed. When-
Yeah, how'd you end up with that?
So once it tested out and I didn't have E. coli present in the source anymore, it was fine. I was
Okay.
able to go back online.
First
So,
one,
so wait a minute,
false
so
positive.
we only had E. coli for
One sample, yes.
one
showed
sample. I'm gonna tell
One
you,
count of E. coli.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. The guy had dirty hands, and he put his thumb on the inside of that bottle, the cap, put the cap on, and he got the E. coli.
I mean,
There's no way that you're gonna take a sample the next day and not have E. coli in that well when
They
you're
got
not
a-
running.
They got a false positive on it,
You got a
Well,
false
it's-
positive.
especially when it's only a
But-
1.
It's usually, I'll tell you, when we take our own bacteria samples, and if you got E. coli, it shows up. It turns yellow, and then you put it under the UV light, and it turns. And usually, when I get a sample like that, and they were all negative the day before, and then you get one that comes back bad, it's something's gone bad with the tester. He didn't put his gloves on, he left the same gloves on when he was driving to the next sample. It's just the procedure, something went wrong.
So to get the time we need, they said to loop the pipe back and forth in the plant. So that rather than run the main down the street and tie in further down, what you do is create a series of loops back and forth to get the distance you need.
You know, that's right on top of our electric line, and that never happened. Why can't we just add the chlorine at where the wells are?
Loop the pipe back and forth in this field.
Okay,
How many feet?
listen,
I haven't calculated that yet, and then
what do you gotta do?
He'll help me.
Put chlorine in?
You have to put chlorine in at a high enough residual, and then you need time,
Okay, how much?
contact time.
Before it hits the first house?
Yep, and our first customer is right there. You
Okay,
What,
have
next
no
to us?
distance.
hold it. If you look, how many feet of pipe are they figured that you need?
It was all the way, I think we figured we had to go all the way down in United Drive.
Okay. You already go down to the United Drive with that orange pipe that feeds from the well. Drag that down so you can see it, to the driveway. Okay. Where does United Drive? Well, just a little further down. Okay, so where your wells are, see where the pumping station is?
Yep.
If you put the chlorine in there, and now we pump the raw water up the street to the treatment plant, how many feet of pipe you got?
No, you haven't treated it yet.
Yeah, you gotta
Can't
do
do
it to
that.
finish water.
Why? Oh, you have to
Treated
treat the
it.
finished water. You
Yeah.
can't treat why can't you treat the raw water? Because it will help oxidize it anyways.
If it was one of these buildings, that would be fine, but you're not, you're putting it through the filters. You're gonna strip it out.
You gotta strip water.
The chlorine, that's how we actually know that we're carrying a residual through the filters. We use the Myox to oxidize, help oxidize the iron and thing. So if you put too much in, you're gonna disrupt the system. You can't.
Could we just move the connection for that first customer?
He's right there, there's no place,
I mean,
the distance, you'd have to run him up the street then, and then you have right across the street now you have it's not Red Cross anymore, there's the
Oh, yeah, it's
ambulance
the,
training, so you can't, now there's two
You actually got
customers
two
right there,
customers.
right. But if we had log 4 certification when I took the E. coli hit, I wouldn't have had to do anything.
If you had what?
Log 4. That just means that you've treated it enough to kill I think they're looking for Giardia.
yeah. But the problem is unless you're gonna
But we don't
crank
have
up the chlorine real high,
We don't-
having all those
I understand
loops.
we don't have it.
We
but-
don't. We can't have Giardia because we have groundwater. You get Giardia when you have surface water. So why are they trying to kill Giardia when you're not going to ever get it?
It's no
Just
matter
in
what, in order
You're
to.
not going to get Giardia in well water. So why are they trying to kill it?
Alright, well, either way, I wanna go home and eat something before I have to go.
No, I'm just, it's accepted. You're not gonna get Giardia. We don't have to treat for Giardia in well water.
That's what they consider a log 4. I can push back, I'll ask them.
Push back, ask them why they got us treating for Giardia when we don't have surface water. That doesn't make sense to
Yeah,
me.
it was certified to not be under the influence,
Right,
so we shouldn't really have to. But then the only way to save on how much pipe goes is to crank the chlorine way up, and if you do
Can't
that,
just
you're gonna have
notify
chlorine
those two
residual out there that
customers?
people are gonna
Right.
complain about.
what,
We can't just notify those two customers?
of what?
No.
When we,
Oh, no,
They won't let you do that.
no,
I'll tell you what we could do. Worst comes to worst, find out what kind of UV light that they'll accept. Change your light out. That'd be the easiest thing to do.
Possibly.
I'd pick a new company too, cause I've been having issues with the light and they're not the easiest to deal with.
Is there a light that'll do that?
Yeah, they have one they've accepted
Oh, that
today.
makes way more sense than run zigzag pipe out the side
It
of that.
depends
Sure
on
it
how much
does.
it costs.
And the other thing is, where he's got the zigzag pipe, that's where all the electric lines run from the big building down to the pumping, that pumping station doesn't have any wires that go into it anymore. They all go underground from the pumping station, from the treatment building. They go down the side of the road.
Yeah, but not under that
They're
law.
not in a field.
They're talking about putting it in the field.
Right, the field's just sitting there.
Yeah, definitely ask them why, if we're not under the influence of surface
Yeah.
water, we have to do it anyway, but then,
And we've already been proven, that site's been proven that we're not under the influence of
yeah, I
surface
remember,
water.
because I talked to you about that before.
Yep. And then we should have all the paperwork, that's all filed with
I
us.
sent them what George gave us. He said there weren't even any calculations on it.
I don't care, they accepted it, doesn't make any difference, that's their problem. That's all baloney.
Till they make us prove it again.
That's all I have.
That's it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.